guys, welcome back to Sons and Daughters of a King Ministry. Super duper excited, like usual, share God's word, to be on here after having an amazing Bible study. God is just so great, and I just want to thank him for his goodness, thank him for who he is, his love, his mercy, his grace, what he's doing in my life, and the things that he's just doing overall. I just thank God because he is truly amazing, and man, a girl's just in love. Girl's just in love with him, in love with his word, love with just everything about him. So usually I go straight forward, and I am going to go straight to it. But I'm going to talk about a topic that some of us may not want to talk about, but it needs to talk about, and that's our baggages. And so I want to read off the Abraham and Lot story. So I'm coming off the King James Version. It is Genesis 12, verse 1 through I think it's 4. And then we're going to go ahead and go to Genesis chapter 13, 5 through about 9. And you guys will see why I brought this up, and I want you guys to see something here. So we're going to start off in Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 through 4. Off the King James Version is what I'm reading off of, you guys. But it says, "Now the Lord has said unto Abraham, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make thee a great nation. I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless him that bless thee, and curse him that curse thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed." And then, so hearing that, did you guys ever once heard God spoke and God tell him, and the Lord told him, okay, listen, bring Lot? No, you didn't hear that. Cool. All right. So chapter 13, verse 5 through 9. So it says, "And Lot also, which went with Abraham, had flocks, herds, and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdmen of Abraham's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanites and the Perizzites dwelled then in the land. And Abraham said to Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdsmen and thy herdsmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take thy left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if thou wilt depart to thy right hand, then I will go to the left." Now, let's dive right into this. So as you can see, God never spoke and told Abraham to go ahead and bring Lot. But Abraham went and go ahead and did. And when he did, a lot of stuff had happened. So when God spoke to Abraham, like I said, like in verse 1 through 3, actually I didn't read it till 4, but 1 through 3, on chapter 12, it says, "When God spoke to Abraham, he told him to leave the country and his father's house to a land he will show him. From there he will make him a great nation and bless him," etc. Because we already read that part. But God never told him to bring Lot, like I just said. But he did. When he did, it got to the point, this is where we're not talking about chapter 13, verse 5 through 9. It said, when he did, it got to the point where the land was not able to hold them both, with all the riches and cattle they had, to the point that there was fighting between their shepherds. So Abraham told Lot he can go left and he could go right, or the other way around. And what the Lord was teaching me about this is that in order for Abraham to go to where God is taking him, he had to drop baggage off, because where he was going, Lot couldn't come. Meaning that everyone in your life will head where God is taking you. They can take too much room, to the point where arguments can happen, or the friendship, relationship, even if it's a family member, becomes too much. So you will have to let them go their way and you go yours, and let the Lord lead you to where he's calling you to go. Most times when there's someone in your life who takes up too much room, you don't have room for the Lord to dwell in, meaning that person can have your heart, attention, etc. But what God wants you to do is surrender it all to him. Leave those behind that are not called to walk with you and the calling God has for your life. We got to start acknowledging God in the friendships and the relationships we involve ourselves in, because we can delay things when we hold on to things that we need to get rid of. I'm going to repeat that again, because some of y'all need to hear this 1,000 times. Because we can delay things when we hold on to things that we need to get rid of. When we hold on to things, see, we have free will. Okay, we either choose the Lord or we don't choose the Lord. We either choose the people in our life or we don't. And a lot of us, the people that we choose in our life, will stray us away. And we hold on to things and people, and we need to get rid of them because we are delaying the things that God has for us. God wants to take to you where He's calling you, but first we got to get rid of some things and surrender ourselves. Surrender, 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 surrender is what the churches need to be talking about a lot these days. We need to surrender. We need to surrender because most of us, we're not surrendering, and most of us want the deliverance. We want all of this, but yet we are not surrendering that very thing that God needs in order for Him to do that, what He needs to do in our life. Surrender. Testimony time. So, talk about a testimony. Last year, I myself needed to get rid of some baggage. It started off, I was on a prayer line, and this man was talking to this woman, and he told her that she needed to get rid of her baggage, and she needed to delete a number off her phone. That word, what he spoke to her, hit me. And I myself took the word and deleted a number that I knew needed to be gone. But guess what? That was just honestly the start of everything. Just around that time, that day, probably like a few days after actually, I decided to change some things in my room, and I felt the need to get rid of some things that someone gave me, the same person whose number I deleted. I kept questioning if it was okay, knowing it needed to be done. So it started off with a few things here and there, and then I just asked God, what else did that person gave me? Next thing you know, I was cleaning this mirror. You guys, I love this mirror. I loved this mirror. It was beautiful. It was really, really big. It captures the whole body, and I just love honestly taking pictures there. But I was cleaning the mirror, and when I was cleaning the mirror, I just heard myself spoke, and I even to this day, I just know it wasn't me that was speaking, but the words that got was, He gave you that too. And so, of course, I got rid of it. So it had to be gone. I knew last year I received stuff from Bath and Body Works. I'm a Bath and Body Works girl. From this person as well, but I couldn't remember which one because I have a whole bunch, and I had a lot of new ones, and it was around the time of my birthday when it was given to me. So around the time my birthday was given to me is in July, so it was in July of last year, and everything that was happening for me to get rid of this was back in January of this year, so I couldn't quite remember what this person had gave me. So I knew how to get, I knew last year I received some stuff from Bath and Body Works from this person as well, but I couldn't remember which one he got me. When I told my mother, you guys, I didn't even finish a sentence. Did not even finish a sentence. All I said was, I don't remember, and next thing you know, I said, he gave me this, and this. And it was like a whole roll of them because at that time, you know, Bath and Body Works does that deal where you buy 3 get 2 free, or sometimes they have that deal buy 3 and get 3 free, and I believe it was buy 3 get 3 free at that time. And I just said, he gave me this and this. May I remind you, I didn't remember what he gave me, and the Lord right there and then, this is what he gave you. This is what you need to get rid of, and get rid of it now. So of course I got rid of it, and I felt like the Lord kept reminding me of more things. Like I kept finding more things, and I kept being directed, oh, go under here, go here, and go here. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I had this. I honestly thought I only had at least 4 or 5 things, but I had a whole bunch of things from this person that I didn't even remember or recall until the Lord had brought it back into my spirit, back into my memory, and I got rid of it all. And once I got rid of those things, not only did I feel a lot lighter, my room felt a lot lighter, and it was also because I kept getting attacked. Like the Lord has gifted me in dreams, and in my dreams I would get attacked a lot, and I couldn't understand why am I getting attacked, but the moment I got rid of those stuff, the attack had stopped. It had stopped, and I was like, this is the reason why, because I still had connections to the person. I still had things in my room that I shouldn't have been there. Hold on to those things. The enemy would just use it to get a room felt a lot louder and so different. Hold on to those things. The enemy would just use it to bring back things that I just didn't want to remember. I knew in order to get to what God has for me next, I had to get rid of the things from my past and any connection/soul ties that I had. So a lot of us are holding on to things that we need to get rid of. Like Abraham, once he and Lot was separate ways, Abraham reached to where God was taking him. Sometimes our next is right around the corner. Hear that again. Sometimes our next is right around the corner. But we keep taking out. Sometimes the next is right around the corner, but because we still have connection to things and we still holding on to things that we need to get rid of, we keep taking detours, and it's taking us a lot longer to get to our next. So let's go. Get rid of those things that we should no longer have, and watch God move. You can't reach what's in front of you until you let go of what's behind you, you guys. sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of us, we tend to spend only like 30 minutes of reading and reading the word, but spend the rest of our days either texting, on the phone with somebody, watching movies, going out, hanging with people. But where honestly is our alone time with God? Honestly, we got to ask ourselves that question. Are we spending time with God? What are we spending more time of? With God or with people? So if you guys heard my testimony, I was one who knew I had baggage, but I also had a hard time letting go because I didn't want to let go. I knew I had baggage last year. I only got rid of the baggage back in this year because things had happened where the Lord was opening up my eyes to things that were going on around me and why it was happening, how He's trying to set me free and deliver me from things, but I needed to let go of that baggage and I needed to give it to God in order for Him to do that He needs to do in my life and inside of me. So the time that I didn't let go was last year, and I had a hard time letting go because it was all that I thought I knew, but in reality it was who I used to be and who I once was, and I was no longer that person. That person is now a testimony to share, but I was holding on to a people, and I was holding on to the things, and I was holding on to them because I didn't want to be in that state of loneliness. That person was someone I communicate 24/7, someone I talk to 24/7. Like I said, sometimes we spend 30 minutes and next thing you know, we're spending the rest of our days with these people and hanging out with these people. We're not giving time to God, and that was me. I wasn't giving time to God. And so that's what was going on. I had a hard time letting go because I didn't want to let go. I wanted that person. I wanted those things. I wanted it because in my mind, I felt like I needed it. But the thing is, I didn't need it, and that was in my life, and the things that were in my life, and the person that was in my life was honestly only distracting me and pulling me away from God, and hindering me from getting to where God is trying to take me. And I kept praying and asking God, like, deliver me, do this, is that, but it couldn't happen until I fully surrendered myself and I give those bags to God and I got rid of the things that I once had. So, that being said, He can't move until we move. Abraham had to make a choice, and the choice led him to where God was trying to take him all along. I had to make a choice, and it was either, Rach, you hold on to the things of this world and what the enemy had brought into your life, or you reach forth and chase after the things that God has for you, because what He has for you is greater, way greater than what the enemy has for you, because what the enemy has for you is only a temporary satisfaction, but what God has for you is everlasting. It gives you joy, it gives you strength, it gives you love and peace and happiness, but what the enemy gives us is only a temporary satisfaction where we need and we want more. And that was me last year. I was with this person and I needed and I wanted more, but he couldn't give me that need, he couldn't give me that want. I had to surrender all that. I had to give myself fully to God. I had to submit myself, empty myself, and ask the Lord to come within me, come dwell in me, and take everything that's out, everything that's not like Him out of me. Sometimes we are spiritually blinded and we cannot see the things that are going on because we just don't want to. Some of us, we want to hold on to things. We want to hold on to that relationship. We want to hold on to that friendship. We want to hold on to what your ex gave you or your ex-husband gave you or whatever the case is. We hold on to it because of the memories of what it brought, and you start to think back. But that's exactly what the enemy does, and that's why I had to get rid of those things. I did not want to think back on the relationship I had with that person. I did not want to think about the things that we've done and all this stuff because it left me to depression. Yeah, there was good times, but there was more bad than it was good, and that was only a temporary satisfaction. In order for me to get to God was trying to take me, I had to give those things up. And to be completely honest, holding on to it, the enemy kept bringing back memories. And an amazing woman of God, I was just like, oh, well, I can just throw these away and I could buy me the same ones because I know that person gave it to me. And she's like, no. She said, because if you do that, that scent, that smell is going to remind you of that person. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even think of it like that. And that was with the lotions, like with the Bath & Body Works lotion. I was like, oh man, these smell so good though. I didn't want to get rid of it. And I was like, oh, I can just get rid of them and buy me the same exact ones because the person bought me it. But no, she's like, no, because that scent, that smell will bring back memories. It'll remind you of that person. And I'm like, wow, Lord, thank you for using her. But wow. So, like I said, Abraham had to make a choice. The choice led him to where God was trying to take him all along. We got to take a step back and look at our lives and see if our life is glorifying God. Is our friendship, relationship glorify God? How much time are we really spending with God, and how much time do how much time do we give everyone else? If it doesn't glorify God, drop that baggage at the altar, leave it there, If it doesn't push you or encourage you to get closer with God, drop that bag at the altar. Another thing. Okay, so our baggage honestly can be anything that's hindering us from getting to where God is trying to take us, or anything that's taking us away from God, anything that's stopping us, and not anything that's hindering us from getting to where God is trying to take us, anything that's hindering us to getting closer to God. The way that I was thinking about it was like if you're hiking up a mountain. So when you have too much in your bag, it will slow you down and take you a lot longer to reach the top. But when you get rid of the things you do not need and that's holding you down, you get to the top a lot faster. And we want to be who God called us, but yet we aren't surrendering ourselves fully to Him. Some of us are like a child with a teddy bear. Ooh, I love this. So some of us are like a child with a teddy bear. So you know how us like parents, I'm not a parent yet, I'm a dog parent. I don't know why I say as a parent, but you know how us there goes again. You know how parents they would try to take the teddy bear away. They're holding one side of the teddy bear while you hold the other, and it's just like a back and forth thing. That's exactly what's going on. When the parent tries to take away, we pull it back. Some of us are praying for deliverance and praying for the things and people to leave our lives. But at the same time, they're pulling that teddy bear when God is trying to set them free. He's trying to break those boundaries. He's trying to break those chains. He's trying to break those connections. But we are just like a child with a teddy bear. We are pulling back and forth with God. God here, but then once again, God no. And like we place it at the altar, but then when we turn around, we pick that up, right back up again. We have to choose whether we want to be who God called us to be and have the things of God has for us, or hold on to the things of this world like I had mentioned earlier. We question God why certain things are happening instead of looking in our life and see if our life is glorifying God. We want to be delivered, we want to be set free, but yet we are fully surrendering to God ourselves. We spend only a moment with God and the rest of the day forget about Him. It's more than Bible studies, more than church, it's more than reading your word. It's a full-on relationship with God, and I say that every time I'm on here. It's a full-on relationship with God. We have to fully surrender ourselves, and that's what I said. Churches nowadays need to talk about surrenderance. We need to talk about surrenderance, and the purpose is because not a lot of us surrender. We go, we hear the word, we come out, and we're not surrendering to God. We go, we hear the word, we receive the word, but we're not surrendering to God. We go and receive the word that comes forward, but we're not surrendering to God. We want the deliverance, we want the blessings, we want everything that God has for us, but what are we doing? What exactly are we doing? Are we surrendering? Are we spending more time with people on the phone, on texting, hanging out, or are we giving time to God? Are we having and building a relationship? We can sit here and build a relationship with our girlfriend, our boyfriend, and our friends. Like you sit there, you get to know them, but we don't do the same with God. We sit here and spend 30 minutes to an hour with God and be like, okay, that's the rest of my day. And then you go 9 to 10 hours and just not thinking about God, hanging out with people, hanging out with friends. And some of these friends will lead you astray, by the way, in Proverbs. And we sit here and we just want what God has for us. How are you going to get what God has for you if you're not even surrendering to Him? You're not giving Him the time of day. You're not building a relationship with Him. You know of Him, but you don't know Him if you're not reading His Word, if you're not spending time with Him, if you're not building a relationship. We want these baggages to go, but what are we doing about it? Nothing. Some of us are not doing nothing. Full surrenders. We have to give the baggage, drop it off the altar, give it to God, and not pick it back up again. How are you going to ask God to deliver you from something, then go right back around and do that very same thing over and over again? How are you going to tell God to get rid of these people out of your life, but at the same time you're still communicating with them, you're still hanging out with them? How is God supposed to move if you don't give Him the room to move? Be like, okay, here, open the door for God to do something, and then close it right back. Place it at the altar, pick it right back. How is God supposed to move if we're not giving Him that needs to be given? Like I said, it takes us a lot longer to get to where God is trying to take us, to get to that blessing, to get to those doors being open. We keep taking detours because we are holding on to things that need to be let go. We're holding on to relationships. We're holding on to jobs. We're holding on to people. We're holding on to friendship. We're holding on to things that people have gave us. We're holding on to memories and hurt and pain. And we expect God to give us a blessing. We expect God to do all this for us. And yet we're not surrendering. We're not giving to Him. And then when we don't see things move, we question Him and we ask Him, what's going on? What's happening? God, why is this not happening? Why aren't you moving? God is always moving, but it depends on us. It depends on what we're surrendering to Him. God can't move unless we move. God can't move unless we surrender. God can't move unless we give Him that very thing that He needs for us, so He can do the work in us, so He can clean us up, so He can clean us wipe us of all the things that we keep hidden inside, all the deliverance and the people, the relations, the soul ties, and all that stuff, if we don't give it to God, how is God supposed to move? I spoke to an amazing woman, guys, like surrendering needs to be talked in the church. Deliverance need to be talked in the church. Baggages need to be talked in the church, because many of us are walking around with these baggage and expect something from God, but we're not giving up that very thing. And I'm going to keep repeating that, because we need to hear more than once. We need to speak on surrender. We need to speak on deliverance, because a lot of us are walking around not knowing what needs to be done. But I'm telling you right now, you're taking a lot longer to get to where you're supposed to be, because you are holding on to something or someone, and God is telling you, let go right now so I can take you where I need to take you. So I can give you that blessing that you've been praying for, that I have, that's right around the corner. It's right there. It's right there. But until you let go of that thing, you're going to keep taking detours. It's going to take you a lot longer to get to where God is taking you. Like I said with that mountain, when we hold too much stuff in our bag, it's taking us a lot longer to get to the mountain where we're tired and it's heavy and it just hurts. But if we get rid of the things that we do not need, the things that are hindering us to get to that top of the mountain, and that top of the mountain could be your blessing, it could be the door, it could be that one person to change your life, it can be your destiny, your calling, whatever the case is. We got to get rid of things that's not supposed to be in our life. Rid of those relationships that's not supposed to be in our life. Some of us are in here with friendships, with girlfriends and boyfriends that are distracting us and pulling us away from God. Even jobs and situations like that. We need to acknowledge God. We need to acknowledge God. We need to sit there and ask God, okay, God, the people that's in my life, is it glorifying you? Is it straying me away? Because if it's straying me away from you, take it out of my life. And when he takes it out of life, don't you sit there and go back and try to chase that thing again. If you drop it at the altar, leave it at the altar, and turn around, thank the Lord that it's already done. We have so many baggages. And we have the nerves to question God, when it has nothing to do with him but everything to do with us. God is faithful and his word is true, and I said that last week or the week before, one of those. He can't move unless we move, unless we have faith, unless we get rid of those baggages. We have to place it at the altar. We have to give it to God. Stop questioning why, and start looking at your own life. Start looking at the friendships that you have, the relationships that you have. See what's hindering, what's holding you back from God, from the things he has for you. What if you deliverance, especially when it comes to deliverance. What deliverance is there that you need to give up, that you have to put at the altar and be like, God, here. I had a baggage. I got rid of it. And the moment I got rid of it, not only did my room feel a lot lighter, but I felt like I could breathe. Because it was no longer a weight on my shoulder. It was taken off. It was taken off, and I was able to breathe. And the moment I did that, living testimony right here. The moment I dropped my baggage at the altar. The moment I got rid of those things and the stuff that was hindering, because I was holding on to someone, hoping things would change, hoping that person would change. But in reality, I had to go my own way. That person has to go their own way, and I had to go reach to where God is trying to take me, because where he's trying to take me, that person can't come. My focus was so much on that person and the things that person was doing, and I wasn't even looking at my own salvation. The word of God says, work your own soul salvation with fear and trembling. And I was so worried about his salvation, and just him, and I didn't even once look at myself. And I was still in depression, still broken, and still hurt, and like my mindset, like it was just wrong. And I had to get rid of that baggage to get to where God was trying to take me. And He took me to a place where I was alone, and I was always afraid of being alone because I was just always used to having people in my life. I was always used to having many friendships and be able to hang out and call with people and all this stuff. But now, like, God had took me to a corner, and he's like, now I can set you free. I can, because you put that baggage at the altar. You gave it to me, and because you gave it to me, I can move. So he delivered me. He set me free of so many things, and he showed me. And in that time of alone, in that time of building this relationship with God, he started opening my eyes to why I had to let go of that person, why I had to let go of my lot. Abraham had to let go of his, I had to let go of mine. Because my blessing was right around the corner. But because I kept taking detours, it was taking me a lot longer to get where I was supposed to go. And a lot of us, we gotta get rid of those baggages. We gotta get rid of those people, those things, those stuff. Because He's truly amazing, and God can move in our lives, but it's according to how we move. My blessing was around the corner, and it was hard, and it hurt just for a moment. But I thank God each and every day, because each and every day I see why. Each and every day I'm living in a blessing. I'm seeing things happen in my life, and each and every day I thank God. Because if I didn't get rid of that baggage, I would continue to take detours. And it would have took me a lot longer to get to where God is calling me to be. And who He's calling me to be. He wanted to mold me, He wanted to build me, He wanted to shape me, but He couldn't do that until I fully surrendered myself, fully surrendered the things that were not of Him, and get rid of the things that were connected to people, a person that was holding me back from getting closer to God. So I just pray, you guys, for you. I pray that whoever's watching this, that the Lord shine a light in your life of something, of a baggage that you need to get rid of, that you need to place at the altar, that you need to truly give to Him. I pray that the Lord does that, because I want to see God's people get to where He's calling them to be. It's beautiful, it's amazing to hear testimonies, and it's amazing to see people get to where God is calling them to be. So I just pray that those who are watching, that we get rid of those baggage, so you guys can get to where God is trying to take you, that blessing, that door, that opportunity, whatever the case may be. God bless you guys. I love you. God loves you. And stay tuned for next week. Goodbye, you guys.